Says it's broadcasting. So, there we go. All right. I am back. Cool. Now YouTube is working, and that's good. That is really good. Yeah, so it's a thing. It is a thing. Hey guys, how you doing? So, yeah, that's been a thing. How you doing? Oh man, it's been a thing. So, like I was saying, and I was checking out a couple of things. And again, as I was writing the show, I got word that the Batman dropped on HBO Max. And last night I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on HBO Max. And then it was like, the Batman. I'm like, really? Let me push play. Nothing. I'm like, bet it drops after midnight. Did I watch it? No, because the movie is 3 hours long and I had to be up this really early this morning. But I did go out and look for some of the talking and all of the stuff that's out there, because people are like, oh man, we got to do the bird. And I'm like, okay, all right, we will see. We will see what that looks like out there. We will see how it goes. And yeah, so let me take a look at all of this stuff. And yeah, that's what we'll do. And let's take a look at this stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Hopefully this is paused. Or not paused, muted. So, and of course the computer. Yeah, the computer did the thing. So let's take a look really quickly. Yes, I'm aware that I'm visually frozen. But let's take a quick look at the Batman, at least the trailer, and we'll talk about that. I'm just gonna put this up so y'all got some images and some sound, so I don't get popped on the YouTubes, because that would suck. So yeah, that became a thing, right? And it's like, yeah, take it easy, sweetheart, and all that stuff. Now, like I said, I haven't actually watched the movie yet. That's going to be my plans for a little later on today. Speaking of later on today, let's see what's going on over here in NP City, because I'm going to say hey to you guys now instead of later on today. Oh man, we got a few people in here. Ox and Action Shin and Erica Funber and Hattie and Neon Arlecchino and Sad Strange Little Man. Good to have you back. Along with Vixabel. Sweet. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So let's talk. All right. Let us seriously talk about the whole Batman thing. Now, it's interesting. Okay. Oh, hey, what's going on? Black and White Now in Color. I didn't see you there. Come up. But there has been this thing for a long time within specifically Batman casting and stuff like that. Be it Robert Pattinson, be it Ben Affleck, be it Heath Ledger as the Joker. There's always something, always people going, brr, 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 that ain't Batman. That ain't my Batman. Batman, blah, blah, blah. And it's interesting. It's interesting for me because I see a lot of comments, and when this actually came out, right? I saw a lot of people, okay, a lot of people, commenting on the fact that this movie is not the Batman I expected. This Batman itself is kind of sexist and right? And I'm just kind of going, okay, I don't know if it's sexist. I don't know if it's not sexist. I really don't. I really, really don't. Because I haven't seen it. And since I hadn't seen it, it would be hard for me to really comment on it. Okay. But the stuff that I did see, okay, a lot of the stuff that I did see, I loved. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I did see, I loved very deeply. And what do I mean by that? Well, the more that I looked at some stuff, okay, the more that I saw, a lot of the stuff that was going on with the Batman, right? I was surprised at Colin Farrell, playing the Penguin. Now, I don't say this enough because it really didn't need to be said when the movie came out because of the show Gotham. Okay, you got Gotham out there. Yes, sexist. I know it's a thing. But the Riddler, the Penguin, honestly spent way too long not getting the respect that he was due. You know, it's a thing. It was really interesting to me to see that because, in truth, I have never disliked the Penguin. Even when Burgess Meredith was playing him, he was like, rah, 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 you know. And don't get me wrong, there was a point in my life that I feared the Penguin, specifically from 2001 to 2008, because Dick Cheney reminded me so much of him. You know, rah, 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 bomb Iraq, rah, you know, rah, rah, I shoot you in a hunting accident and make you apologize for getting in the way of my bullet. Rah, rah, rah. But when I look at the renditions of that guy over the decades of being in comics and cartoons and TV shows, even Danny DeVito's portrayal of him in Batman Returns, I'm like, you know, this character could be fascinating because one, he's a Batman villain, and Batman don't really have any bad villains. They really don't. Honestly, my particular villain that I want to see get some play is Dr. Hugo Strange. And that's even post the introduction of Professor Pig. Okay. But the one person that I thought really needed not an overhaul, but their time in the sun was the Riddler. I have always liked the idea. Ooh, bad Neon Arlecchino, bad. Oh, the Penguin's truly a bad egg. No, that's Egghead. But yeah, I've always liked the Riddler. You know, let's face it, we live in a time of the Bat cult. When I was growing up, Superman was the man, right? It was like, oh, Superman, look. There was not a single kid anywhere in the world that hadn't at one point put a towel on their neck and on their shoulders and ran through the house saying up, up, and away. We've all done it. But now we're living in the time of the bat. And I'm going to put this out there right now, okay? The letters are coming out. Oh, and now somebody's calling me. I can't stand you people. I'm going to put this out there right now, okay? I love the Joker as a villain, okay? Just like I love cheesecake as a dessert. All right, specifically chocolate cheesecake when it's really creamy and it's got like a really good dark chocolate, like a 60% cocoa powder. It's so perky. I love it. However, sometimes I want a donut. Sometimes I'd like creme brulee. The point that I'm getting to, and I love me some peach cobbler. The point I'm getting to is I can't have cheesecake every day. You can't have steak every day. You can't have all this stuff every single day. And that's where I've been with the Joker for a while. I would say since Heath Ledger, okay? And when I say that, when I say that, I really need to put out there for real. The Joker's a great character, but between 20 years of Mark Hamill playing the role in the animated world and Heath Ledger's redefining depiction of it in The Dark Knight from Chris Nolan, I was kind of Jokered out. I'm like, okay, now I need a break. And not because the Joker's bad. And I'm putting this out there because I adored Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker. All right? Specifically because I'm such a fan of the Martin Scorsese movie, King of Comedy. But here's the thing. All right? Batman has got a deep bench of villains. A deep bench. This was one of the reasons I respected Christopher Nolan. He used Two-Face. Who uses Two-Face? Let's see here. Nobody uses Two-Face. The last time we saw Two-Face in live action, I don't mean Harvey, I mean Two-Face, was when? Oh yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, Batman Forever, 1996. And don't get me wrong, I loved that movie. I truly did. 96, that means I was 19 years old when it came out. I thought it was great. Okay, specifically because Jim Carrey does a great Fred Gorshin impression. He really does. And let's face it, it never hurts to see Nicole Kidman in anything. And not to mention, this was at the height of Val Kilmer's power. So at the time, it was great. Does it hold up? God, no. But let's talk about the Riddler, okay? The idea of a dude dressed in green that's like, I'm leaving clues all over the city because I'm a criminal. Yeah, no, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. But a super genius who's a bit homicidal and who is so arrogant that they leave clues knowing that the authorities won't be able to find them. I'm thinking, dude, I love this guy. I really, really love this guy. I love the whole concept. And when I saw that first trailer with the dude whose head was entirely covered in duct tape with a riddle next to him, I'm like, all right, now we're getting into something. All right, this is getting into something. But then I saw the reviews, and the reviews I've heard go thusly, and I'm talking the majority of them, okay? The movie is sexist because it doesn't focus on Batman. Catwoman gets more screen time. Really? Yeah. So what? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I know the kind of person that leaves these comments, especially without backing it up with any analysis, okay? Here's the thing. The Batman-Catwoman relationship is one that's decades old, and it's almost as given when it comes to doing a Bat property. Like, if you're going to do Batman, he and Selina have got to fall in love and all that other stuff. And the movie's too long, and it didn't focus enough on Batman. And it makes me wonder, what is it that people want from a Batman movie? Because when I've asked this question in real life, everything they've described, I'm like, you got that. It has already been done. And that movie was Batman and the Mask of the Phantasm. That was everything. That was the amazing fighter. That was the detective. That was a deep look into Bruce Wayne as a character. That was the Joker being whoop whoop woo. It was stuff having to do with the mob, his complex relationship with the Gotham City Police Department. That movie is everything, there's so few movies that can be all things to all people. And Batman and the Mask of the Phantasm is really all things to all Batman fans except for one. And that one is live action. Okay? But in all honesty, still, it is honestly, until someone disproves it, or who knows, this movie might change it. It's still the most Batman of a Batman movie that I've ever seen. And I've seen all of them, including the ones from the 1940s, yes. Okay? Because I'm a nerd and I like the comic books. I like the comics. So yeah, there's that. But looking at this depiction, there have been 100 takes on the villains of the Gotham universe. Okay, 100 takes, and the most popular take that people tend to cling to, at least they have for the past 15 years, is that every Batman villain is one singular aspect of Batman. And when they're written like that, it's actually pretty neat. Like you've got Harvey, who is the chaotic person bent on justice, fairness, which adds up to revenge. You've got the Joker, who is chaos incarnate, but also a super genius. You've got the Penguin, who is high society and the trappings of that, along with, Dr. William Hurt. And you've got Hugo Strange, which is, hi, I'm the medical industry gone completely awry. And Bruce Wayne's dad was a doctor. And then you've got the Riddler, who is the super genius that says, you're a detective, I'll give you something to investigate. And looking at it like that, I've always said, okay, this character needs a little bit of shine. Let's put a little light on this guy. And of course, the connection of Killer Croc. Animal instincts and Killer Croc kind of reflects the reputation that Batman has on the street, because Croc is a monster. And since Batman in Gotham isn't known as Batman, he's known as the Batman. And a lot of people in Gotham don't know the difference between he and Man-Bat. So a lot of them think he's a monster. So, it's these aspects are always out there. So looking at what they did with the Riddler, or thinking about what they could do with the Riddler, since I haven't watched it yet, I was really, really hyped. I was really hyped. I was really geeked out about it. But came out during COVID, and, the channel wasn't making that much money, and I couldn't go out and pay. I couldn't pay for a movie, nor would I pay to go to the movie theaters, because every movie theater turned out to be a super spreader event. And, I was I was doing my best to make sure that the people around me with compromised immune systems didn't have a reason to worry. Call me crazy. All right. So yeah. And of course, when I saw that they had cast Paul Dano as the Riddler, I'm like, ooh, he was my pick for the Riddler from way back. And I mean, I'm talking like not another teen movie 20 years ago, way back. I'm talking, as far back as There Will Be Blood, because like real talk, he has this kind of moist feel about him. And when I say moist, it's like he's always kind of sweating a little bit, a little greasy, a little, just like you look at him and it's kind of like, I don't even know. And, oh yeah, he is a phenomenal actor. Okay. And just the way that he presents himself and the roles that he plays, I'm like, dude, this guy would be amazing as the Riddler. Let's see here. But yeah, because yeah, the like, let's face it, the most that we have known of Paul Dano comes from, you know, the popular meme. Or if it's not a meme, it should be a meme. I ain't gonna lie about that, because man, it's all meme-alicious. But a little bit beyond that, I'm just like, yeah, dude, I am 100% there. And of course, we've got, yeah, you know, just look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at the face. Look at the facial expressions. Look at the slick back hair. You know,
he knew what was there and he found me.
And yeah, I mean, quite seriously, just looking at Paul Dano, especially in that role, it's just, it is just amazing. You know, if you haven't seen There Will Be Blood, you should. You know, because we can always, you know, in a lot of ways, we can totally empathize with the character. And again, when you have a character like the Riddler, who was always a little greasy, never really the guy that can throw down in a fight because he's all about that brain power, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, Paul Dano's the Riddler. And of course we were expecting this scene from Batman.
I drink your milkshake.
You know, but yeah, so I mean, seriously, you know, it literally is one of those things. And I'm like, oh yeah, Batman's going to be drinking him some milkshake if Paul Dano is there. You know, I see it like, you know, I put you in Arkham, you know, and, you know, although in all honesty, I always thought that the Riddler deserved to go to prison instead of Arkham Asylum. But hey, you know, he's really good about that stuff. So I'm looking forward to watching it. What I want to know from you guys is, if I watch it tonight, do you want me to talk about it tomorrow? I don't know. Because I can't quite have a spoiler discussion because I haven't watched it. I hear a lot of good stuff. I like the investigation of murders. And a lot of people have been saying a lot of things, you know, a whole lot of things, specifically about Robert Pattinson being Batman, and his portrayal being kind of emo, you know, kind of Batman broods, and oh my god, does he brood? Look at this guy, that's all he's doing is brooding. I'm like, oh, shut up. I saw you guys on the freaking We Love Kit Harington train for Jon Snow. You know, everybody's brooding all the time. But honestly, you know, all of the Harry Potter cast members are just amazing, you know? I mean, I got word through the grapevine that people are talking about Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I could see it. You know, of course, if they were going for Daniel Radcliffe type, I'm glad they're not choosing Elijah Wood, because Wolverine doesn't have eyes that big. It's like, oh, Frodo, no, Frodo, don't say bub. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. So, you know, if you want me to talk about it tomorrow, we can do that. We can talk about it tomorrow. Let's see, who do we got in the chat right now? See, no one's chatting over in the YouTubes, and that's fine. Let's see, we've got Action Shin, Black and White, Hattie, Ox, Lori Pub, Neon Arlecchino, Satch Strange Little Man, Vancouver by Night, Vixabel Cosplay. Oh wow, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So, you know, I'm definitely gonna watch it today. I got some housework I gotta do, and some family members are coming to stay with me for a little bit as they try and find a new place to live. So I got to do a little cleaning, because, you know, that's, you can't just be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And they're like, I don't know where to walk. So, you know, we're going to be taking care of that. But on top of all that jazz, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, for those of you guys out there that have seen the Batman, the wonderful Batman, Let me know either here or in the Discord server, what do you guys want? What you guys thought about it? Because one, it's impossible to spoil a movie for me. I don't come from that world. But yeah, so that's my plan for the night. But moving on, because I put 3 subjects in here today. All right. So on April 1st, Games Workshop put out an announcement, okay, that they're bringing the Space Dwarves back. And well, I know I put the squats in the title. I don't really like that name because I really don't like using stereotypes and all that stuff. Just not the big thing. They're dwarves. They're space dwarves. 40k dwarves. And a lot of folks are talking about, some of the stuff. What? A what? Hold up, guys. Looking at this. Oh, okay. That's actually not bad. So I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do, but yeah, I looked up the dwarves, and a Skaven box set from Games Workshop just came up for like $36 at Walmart, and 20 miniatures for $35. That's about $1.50 a mini. That is not bad. Okay, that is not bad at all. You guys should really check that out if you're into the Skaven. I personally went looking for the Vermine from Warcry and Dead Zone, so I'm good with that. But yeah, so we got the squats that are back from Games Workshop, okay? The Space Dwarves have come back, and they don't look like they did in the 90s, which is interesting. Like, I actually kind of think these look pretty cool. Actually, those look pretty good. I like those sculpts. And they're going to be back as a real faction. All right. And the truth is, I dig it, but I don't dig it. Primarily because 40k has been out there for a long time. Excuse me. And they are notorious for bringing in an army for one of their games and then adding it to a second game and then getting people all into it, letting them buy a whole bunch and then paying no attention to it for years, sometimes decades. Talk to me, Battle Sisters players. And so they're coming out, and I like the models. I think they're kind of cool. But I'm still happy with the Mantic dwarves. They don't seem to be going anywhere. And they are reasonably priced, much like these Skaven at Walmart, and these are Age of Sigmar minis, but still, bunch of rats, and that's kind of neat. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's kind of fun. Look at that. So yeah, I mean that's pretty awesome. That's kind of nice, and I like the fact that they're out there. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the dwarves, and I get why a lot of places won't want to do that. Okay. Primarily because alienating an audience is never good. Okay. I agree, Neon Arlecchino. They should have stayed as space bikers. And yeah, those look like Forge Fathers from Mantic Games. And I'm with you on that. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know why they're doing what they do. I'm a big fan of Discourse Miniatures. So when she says something about it, I'll know what's going on. So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to put out there. And how do you guys feel about it? Like, I don't know that many fans of dwarves in most media. Okay, I really don't. I want to, but I don't. I don't know that many fans of them. So given that is one of my truths, I really don't know where a lot of people stand with them. Like, was this a faction that people wanted to come back? I know what people have been wanting are things like the Tyranid updates, another codex for the Imperial Guard, because man, they haven't gotten any attention for a while. And of course, some more stuff for the Adeptus Mechanicus, you know. So I don't know. Since I don't play 40k, it's a thing. I play Grimdark Firefight and Grimdark Future from One Page Rules, so I'm kind of tertiary to this stuff, you know. I'm or not tertiary, but adjacent to a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of a thing. That is kind of a thing. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about dwarves, because I do like dwarves in Lord of the Rings. I like dwarves in D&D. I think they're the best clerics ever. Let's see here. Constant squat. Oh, there were. Guard requests are mostly for non-Cadian models, since they have discontinued a lot of forces. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, that is most definitely a thing. All right. So I'm going to fade to black real quick. Because I have a reason for this. All right. Let's do it. All right. So I want to talk about perception of things. Now, a little earlier today when I was researching this and taking care of some home stuff, I came across a video. I love martial arts. I really do. I love martial arts and I love the culture. I love Chinese culture and a lot of the philosophy that goes with martial arts and things like that. Okay. And I saw a dude that does really good demonstration and theory breakdown of one of my favorite arts, which is Wing Chun. Essentially the Chinese art of incredibly fast hands. I'm a big fan. I'm a really big fan. And I did what you're never supposed to do on YouTube, which is I read the comment section. And the comment sections of a lot of videos they're actually getting better on my feed. I actually kind of dig it. A lot of people are like, thank you, this is cool, this is that. But there's always those guys that are like, yeah, well, I want to see that work in combat. I want to see it work in a real fight, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, stop. Just stop. But another older martial artist and instructor was like, there's so much disrespect here, guys. Just, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine, but you're really insulting a culture and a whole lot of other things, and show some respect if you guys are actual warriors and fighters. And I'm like, thank you. I didn't have to type it. But one of the things that came up because the algorithm were the top 10 fights, or the top 10 times regular guys got embarrassed by professional female fighters. And you know I had to watch it. I had to watch it. I didn't know there was like a group of YouTubers out there that went, no, we could take her and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, if you guys are doing this for clicks and you're not willing to get a bloody face, then you should do something else, because people are actually tuning in for you to get a bloody face. And they're like, oh, yeah, all this other stuff. And then she ended up getting served. And they showed she ended up serving all of them in short order. And they showed a lot of them. I'm like, okay, the top 11 times, and there's another video. And one of them was like a correspondence dude saying, looking at a professional female fighter. I'm pretty sure it was Rhonda. And he's saying, look, I'm a guy, I'm bigger. And I honestly think that you wouldn't have much of an advantage because I'm bigger, even though I'm a white belt. And I'm just like, wow. My mom used to call that letting your mouth write a check that your butt can't cover. All right. Hang on. Ronda Rousey and reporter. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Even pulled it up. So I wanted to take a look at this because yeah, this guy. All right, it's 55 minutes. Y'all want to watch it with me? I say let's watch it. I say let's watch it. Let's get this out there because people are stupid, and I want to put this out there because this ties directly to a lot of stuff that I talk about and a lot of stuff related to our channel. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a real good look.
As a beginner who's never competed in judo and who has a white belt on, I've got to be honest. I don't think you have as much strength and can compete with a man, even though I'm a white belt.
You know how to push my buttons. That was exactly how to get me to throw you.
Right?
Oh, sorry.
I felt my ribs crush.
Let's see it again.
Ribs crush.
Let's see it again.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I felt my ribs crush.
I would like to get.
Oh, sorry.
I felt my ribs crush.
That makes me smile so hard. That makes me smile. Now, I pulled that one up because when he said all that and she put him down, and as you could see, she put him down hard. All right, and not just hard. We're talking a hip throw, but she twisted her body to make sure that she fell on him. All right, that is the second most brutal way to do a hip throw. Okay, second. The most brutal way is to make sure that you plant their head into the ground first. But this is the big thing about this. This perception that even though these women fighters are professional, well, no, I'm a guy, so I can beat them, and I'm like, what makes you think that? What really makes you think that? And it got me thinking to a lot of stuff that as a boy I was exposed to as a kid. Okay, primarily this idea that skill sets are limited to unchangeable circumstances. All right. Now I come from the disenfranchised factor, and I'm black. All right. So this idea that if you're born female, if you're born with the female sex assigned to you as a child, I'm not talking gender, I'm just talking about girl parts. Okay, I'm talking the reproductive organ. That fighting isn't in your wheelhouse, or math, or comedy, or games, or tactical thinking. You know, I know in Western civilization we spent a long time dehumanizing humans. All right, and by that I mean, if you've taken Anthropology 101, you have probably, I don't know what it's like at every school, but if you've taken Anthropology 101 in college, you have probably been exposed to the concept that personhood isn't a birthright, it is a social construct, okay? And this is big. This is really, really big, because we say people are equal, all people are created equal, people get equal opportunity, and it's true, but we don't really define personhood. You see what I mean? Yes, all people get this, but not all humans are people. So some humans don't get the stuff that people get, okay? And that's a really big thing. And looking at all of the times that someone with a camera has picked up dudes saying, no, man, although this woman is professionally trained in a martial arts technique that was specifically created to fight people bigger, stronger, and more homicidal than the practitioner of, I can still take them because I'm a man. You know, I'm just like, guys, put it back in the deck, all right? Because everything that we do, except for giving birth, okay? Everything that we do, I don't care what the hobby is, I don't care what the profession is built around a skill set, all right? When you guys see people out there who are good at something, I know it's really easy to discount them upon meeting them. Like, I have a really big problem where I'm so used to being the smartest dude in the room that I forget that I'm not sometimes. And I always have to remind myself, wait a second, I come from almost nothing, and I've managed to learn these skills, attain these knowledge, and all this stuff. These people come from more than me, so they've at least had the means and the same opportunity to get at least as much as I know, if not more. All right? So this idea that you can judge what someone knows, what skill sets they have, what competence they have at something, just by looking at them, nah, that's not the way it goes, guys. I'll tell you, I've taken martial arts for a lot of years, and I think I've won a single sparring match against a girl, you know, just once. Hey, Red Hulk, what's going on? So, all right. So yeah, thank you for the sub. So watching people, I mean, let's face it, Ronda Rousey is one of the best fighters in the field. Male, female, whatever, her record speaks for herself. But just the very idea, just the very idea that I'm a dude, therefore I should be able to take you in a fight. I'm like, no, dude, no, this will be you. There you go. And and real talk. That clip is logged away in my happy place along with the kids that got the paint, primarily because, the fact that he actually said it. He said it out loud. He used his words. Like, I'm a white belt in judo, but I think I could take you because I'm a man? You know, trained at her level, I'm sure a guy could take her out. Yeah, guess what? When people get trained and they hit the same level, then the playing field is even. Okay? Yeah, a guy could take her out if he were trained up to her level. Guess what? A child trained up to her level could take her out. And that is the point that I'm making. Okay? We live in a great age where people that would normally not have been given chances for stuff are now getting chances for stuff. All right? So I remember the first time I was put in my place like this, I was working at Universal in the special effects department. And real talk, there were a couple of dudes in the plastics department that said that they could fix an electronic part on a robot better than I could. And I'm like, y'all can't even speak English in my head. I was 19, okay? But yeah, y'all can't even speak English, and you think you can do my job better than I can? And guess what? They did. Oh my God, they did it so much better. And they used their knowledge of plastics to make a better housing for it. Like, they did the job and they made it work in a way that I couldn't. And I'm looking at them thinking, y'all can't even speak English. And I wasn't always as progressive as I am, guys. But they handed me my butt professionally because it turned out that they were freaking software and hardware engineers in Mexico. You know? I mean, I have a degree in physics, and that's a lot of everything, but they were specialized in the field. It turns out I had the job that they should have had because they were more qualified for it than I had. They had the best skill set. And you know what? I made that clear. before I left the company. I'm like, y'all need somebody in this department? Use these two. They know what they're doing. Because I was humble, you know? But I've spent a lot of time in places that didn't really welcome people of color, didn't really welcome women or LGBTQ and all that other stuff, okay? And the thing is, everything that we love, playing video games, playing D&D, painting miniatures, building models, dealing with robots, all of those things are skill sets. And real talk, the skill sets themselves don't care who learns them. Okay? A poor kid who gets training in robotics has training in robotics. A rich kid that has training in robotics has training in robotics. A martial artist, like an MMA fighter, girl, boy, man, woman, LGBTQ, other, they still have training in those skills, those arts, the body conditioning, the techniques, the timing, all of that stuff. And when people go, well, you shouldn't be able to do that. Before I tell them to put the card back in the deck, I'm like, why? I want to hear you say out loud why a person shouldn't be able to do that. You know, my first experiences with this came with the English language. The fact that I have a high vocabulary and sometimes I'm rather loquacious. A lot of people were like, dude, you speak so well. I am surprised. And I'm like, what did you expect? Thank you, Red Hulk. The Bruce Lee and Kobe mentality. Exactly. All right. Bruce Lee, real talk said, I am more afraid of a person who practices one kick 1,000 times than I am at someone who's practiced 1,000 kicks once. Anybody can practice a kick 1,000 times. Anybody can practice a punch 1,000 times. Anybody that can do 100 push-ups is stronger than me. You know? So the idea that just because a person that you see and when people see you, if you don't add up to what their preconceived notion of what these things require, it doesn't mean you can't do it, and it doesn't mean other people can't do it either. You know, again, I love watching those turnaround videos. Like, yeah, I can go beat up a girl, and watching those girls beat these guys bloody and break their ribs and all that stuff. I'm like, yes, you know, and it's begun. Red Hulk and Neon Arlecchino, y'all have fun with that. But yeah, I mean, again, I am a really big fan of skills and all the stuff that we talk about. I'll tell you, the best archer that I know is a fantastic woman. And when I say the best, she has championships throughout all of California in co-ed competition. It's not like, yeah, no, she's the best for the women's division. No, she's one of the best because she's one of the best. All right. And how did she get that way? Simple. She practiced. She practiced. That's it. You know, she totally practiced. Kobe, one of the best jump shots in NBA history. How did he get that way? Because he practiced. All right. And anybody can practice. Anybody can learn. Anybody can get good at any set of skill things. So when people look at you, like, I know one of the times that I went into this was when I was studying wardrobe, and I was a pretty good costumer. I did a lot. I was pretty good with a sewing machine. Not great, because I learned at home, so there were a lot of professional tricks I didn't learn because I wasn't in the industry. But I got a lot of practice at using an industrial machine because I worked in a sweatshop for a little while. I mean, that's just the real talk. And people are like, oh, what? You're a big old dude. How can you sew? And I'm like, the machine don't care what my reproduction organs are. It just wants to know that I know how to set it to make sure that stuff don't, that the fabric don't bunch, the thread don't break, and that I can use a pedal, you know? so, so the fact of the matter is, it's really easy to think that people from a certain background, I don't care what it is, people of color, women, LGBTQ+, the neurodivergent, the differently able, the fiscally disenfranchised, or what we're called where I come from, the PO, just because a person is not of the American average, the middle class, and the male, it doesn't mean that they're lacking in skills. Okay, or it doesn't necessarily mean that they're lacking in skills. You know, my kid took martial arts all through childhood. My kid can handle themselves. And when people look at them, they're like, "Oh my God, you can't do all this stuff, blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, you know, if you gotta kick their ass, kick their ass. It's that's your thing. You know, go ahead and kick some butt." But the idea, and thank you for bringing that up, Red Hope. When it comes to building skills and trading skills, I tell you guys all the time, I don't have very many beliefs, but one of my prime beliefs is that anybody can learn anything if they have a good teacher who has patience. Okay, anyone can learn anything. I'm not gonna lie, like, I see it a lot with like people going, "Man, actors don't know how to do this stuff." I don't want to fight Keanu Reeves. I really don't. And I'm pretty sure I can take Ezra Miller, but I couldn't take Keanu Reeves. I definitely can't take Steven Seagal. You know, I might stand a chance against Van Damme, maybe, possibly. I don't know how much. I don't know how much kickboxing he's actually taken since he was a big action star. But the fact of the matter is, anybody can train at anything. Okay. And as long as someone has access to that training and the discipline and the willingness to put in the time to practice and to ask questions and to learn and understand, then they can get good. Okay. I have a lot of people out there that tell me a lot of the stuff that I'm into are white person stuff. And I'm like, don't, man. That's not the way it goes. You know, I like learning things. I like statistical analysis. I like law. I like philosophy. I like a lot of different things. Okay? And my ancestral heritage has no bearing on whether or not I have the capability of learning these skills and these concepts. It does speak a lot to my life experience, but it doesn't speak a lot to my capability or capacity to learn. So keep that with you guys. And don't get caught up like I did when I was 19. Because, man, did I get humbled. I got humbled by every girl I stepped into the sparring ring with. I got humbled by engineers from South America. I've been humbled in a lot of different ways. I'm pretty sure I got humbled as a musician when I thought, well, I don't know that many girl bassists, but the ones I know I can take. I can take them. I'm better than them. And, you know, then I saw Michelle and Cello and a lot of the women who were dominating the studio music industry for 40-something years. Like, you know, the Spy Hunter theme, that do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, that track was laid by a 19-year-old woman back in the 1950s who, if she's still alive, is still playing. All right? So when it comes to that, when it comes to seeing any skills or any talents, anyone is capable of being good. So everyone is worth a shot. All right? But yeah, so with that, I want to put that out there. Yeah, Neon, it all depends on how drunk he is. You're right. If he's really drunk, I got him. I totally got him. Unless he's a master of drunken boxing. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys. And with that, though, I'm going to say thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for being here. And also, thank you for participating in the conversations. This has been a very, very good day. But yeah, so if you guys got any questions or comments or anything, I watched this show called The Repair Shop. Okay. Oh man, yeah. Mechanics, dude. I'm all about that stuff. But again, if you guys have any questions or comments or things like that, hit us up in the Discord server. I think is that the Discord thing? That is the Discord server. Yeah, I just put a link to the Discord in the chat. That is where you can find me most hours of the day because it's on my phone, and my phone never leaves my side because it's the 21st century and I'm a rube. But you can also hit me up at backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit me up at Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and all of those social medias that we all have and none of us like. All right, guys. Please subscribe to the channel like Red Hulk 05 did. It really, really helps out, guys. Like, seriously speaking, according to my analytics, I've got 21 subscribers and I'm trying to get to 30 before the end of the month. If I can make it to 100, that would be awesome. If I can make it to 300, that might actually put me in a safe place to keep doing the community outreach and to do more shows with more elaborate things. I've been working on a lot of puppets. But again, if you guys got any questions about that, hit me up on the social medias, send me an email and all that stuff. And remember, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or be good at something because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, your disabilities, or your budget, you can tell them to take any of those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining me today, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the room.